writing has always been my strong suit.
Mm-hmm.
And so this, as far as the Confident Writer course, is just me helping people to have the confidence, those people that have a story that they want to write, a story that they tell, giving them the confidence to get their concept and their idea out there in story form. So kind of going back, I've been writing for a long time. Of writing is my first love. It's my passion. You know, someday I will continue not to just write books, but just movies, you know, things like that. And so I enjoy helping people who are kind of fearful about, you know, moving in their and gifts. And so my goal, or my, I would say, purpose when it comes to other people, is to push them in the area that they desire to go. And in this case, it's writers, people who get out there, but like I said, they have an idea, but they don't have the confidence to structure that idea, put it together, network with other writers, coaches, and teams, and just really get their story out there. And so,
you know, when I think about it, it's like there's so much I would love to write about. I have no idea where to start. It's like, okay, so they'll tell you, oh, just start journaling. Okay, but that makes no sense. It's like, it doesn't look like a book. It looks like me just writing. So, so you're going to be able to teach from the beginning how to start a book.
Right. So basically, so basically what I do is, and I also, if you don't know this, sometimes I do a little work on Fiverr. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
People come to me with their ideas and their concept, and they don't have any structure. They don't know where to go with it. 5-star rating on all of my
wow. That's wonderful. I did not know that.
Yes. And so they'll give me an idea or a concept, and basically what I'll do is I'll take it and I just give them the structure to that idea and concept. So when they sit down to write their book, it's like they're going step by step, what to do next. And so what I tell people is, you know, it's great to journal all of your ideas and, you know, all of these wild thoughts and flowing thoughts that you have. But I think it's important to hone those thoughts, like bring all of those thoughts in. And I'll tell people at least write 2 to 3 sentences of what you want your story to be. Bring that idea and that concept into about 2 to 3 sentences. Then you can work from there, because it doesn't seem like it's this big forest and everything is controlled and you don't know where to put what. Bring that idea in and just make it simple. And that's the first step, so you don't feel overwhelmed as a writer. And so my job is doing the Perfect Writer course, and it doesn't matter what genre. You can be nonfiction, fiction, you can be a romance writer, you can be a mystery writer, sci-fi, it doesn't matter. My job is to take your idea and your concept and to teach you how to structure it. So by the end of it's 4 class sessions. So by the end of those 4 class sessions, you're going to basically, your idea and concept is going to be in a state to where when you're ready to sit down and write your book, you're going to be able to write it with flow and ease.
Oh my gosh.
Going to work on not just your confidence as a writer. I believe that it's important for us to be confident as a writer, because if you're not confident in your story, then you know you're not really going to sit down and write it. You're not going to put it out there. You're just going to be timid about it. You're not going to have the courage to start the first steps. So my first goal is to work on the confidence of the writer, and then to take your idea and help you with a backstory. Also to help you with your main characters, to bring description to your main characters. We're going to go into structure chapter by chapter.
Okay.
You have an outline chapter by chapter. It helps you to know how to transition from one chapter to the next and really have that flow with your story at the end.
That's amazing.
So those those are the things that we're going to work on. And so what I'm telling people is bring your idea and your concept to class, because we're going to work on whatever you have. And it's not just going to be me teaching, but it's going to be interactive.
Okay.
Other people in class, we're going to address fears as writers. We're going to just address doubts and different things like that, and share the ideas and how we can move forward. And, I'm just going to give you the tools to be able to do that. And on top of that, if people need extra help, what I'm thinking about is also creating the Confident Writer course private Facebook group, where I'll get in there a little bit more in depth and be just to hold people accountable and to push them towards writing their book.
So do you find that people, they have the idea that they want to be a writer, but they don't have the discipline? Is that what it is? It
could be, yes. It could be that they don't have the discipline because they feel so overwhelmed by it. It shouldn't, it could take a person 3 months to write a book, 6 months, or a year. It depends on your discipline. But I say that when you have the confidence and you have the structure that I'm planning on giving students in class, then there's no reason why you shouldn't at least have your book written by the end of next year.
Wow. So basically what you're going to give them is a template.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just going to make it easy for them so they don't feel so overwhelmed. And many times when you feel overwhelmed, then you won't have the discipline to sit down and write the book.
Now, do you do any type of ghostwriting?
I do. I've had people to ask me to do ghostwriting, but what I love to do more so is to encourage people to do their own writing, because no one can tell your story like you can. A ghostwriter is not going to be connected to your story the way that you are.
Okay.
Your story is connected to an audience. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with ghostwriting. I would do it, but I love to encourage people because your audience is connected to you. They can feel your emotions. They're going to want to know why did you write this character? Why did you write it like this? Why did you write the situation? And only you can really connect with your audience in that. Yeah.
And then I think that's also very therapeutic, very therapeutical.
Right.
Did I say that right?
Right.
Great therapy.
Right. And you know what? And it's so funny that even when you start writing, you'll be surprised by your ability to write and tell a story. You'll be surprised about the characters that you're able to create, the scenarios, the scenes, the description of your characters. Like, you will amaze yourself. And sometimes you find yourself laughing at your own dialogue, laughing at what your characters are going through and doing. And so to me, it's just a fascinating journey. And so it's not just for the reader, but it's also for the writer. So I just want to encourage people to bet on yourself. Yes, you can get a ghostwriter, but believe that you can write the story. You can tell the story as well, and have the courage to be able to do it. Let go of the fear. And the only way that you're going to be able to let go of the fear is if you just go ahead and do it. Do it afraid. Do it afraid.
Okay, so how do we get more information about your online course?
Well, you can go to, if you're, because I'm trying to think of the link off the top of my head, so that I can put it in the chat box, which I will put it in there. But if anyone follows me on Instagram, or if you follow me on Facebook, you can go to my page.
Okay.
My Linktree link that is on my page, or if you're on Instagram, you can follow me at writer JN Stewart. Or you can email me at writerjnstewart@gmail.com.
Okay. Now,
can get more information about the course, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Good. So, can you tell us about some of the books that you have written?
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello, ladies.
Oh, Yolanda. That's Yolanda.
I'll share some of my most recent, my women's fiction. The recent one I just released is Tanya's Journey of Forgiveness. It is about a lady who basically goes through a journey of forgiveness where she's having to forgive herself. She's having to forgive her mother, her father, even her husband. And she has this great group of girlfriends around her. They all have different personalities, but they bring so much healing to each other's lives. And help her through this journey. And so she deals with different things, but in the process, she's growing, she's healing, she's forgiving, she's learning herself, what she likes, what she doesn't like. She's meeting new people, but ultimately her story is about forgiveness, you know, and how she really responds to the things that are happening to her. Really, because this is a person that's running away from their past. You know, in some way. And so she's having to also learn how to love herself and embrace herself. So, you know, that's a very heartfelt story. To me, it's funny too, with all of the friends and different things like that, but you can find that on Amazon. Also, I have a book titled A Way of Escape. This is also about a woman. I love to connect with women. So that's why, you know, my main characters are women. And so A Way of Escape. And this woman is going through a journey where she's learning how to, or realizing that she has the power to make her own decisions. She doesn't have to settle for whatever is in her life. And so there are some twists and turns in this story where she's in a relationship that's in shambles, but in the end, she also finds love. So, yeah, so it's a journey, and some people are, you know, they are a little bit baffled about the twist of the story. And so I love that one. And then another one really quick is called Maybe This Christmas Will Be Different. And it's really based off of the life of my mother. You know, yes. And so it's loosely based off her life, but it's inspired by her, a woman who has had 5 children, has been in several relationships, not so good relationships. But in the end, she finds self-love, you know, through everything that she goes through. And not just self-love, but maybe in the end, she finds, you know, romantic love as well. But it's loosely based off of my mom.
Oh, wow. That is wonderful. I didn't know that.
Yes.
So we can find all those books on Amazon?
Yes, ma'am, on Amazon. So it's Tanya's Journey of Forgiveness, A Way of Escape, and Maybe This Christmas Will Be Different by Jacqueline Stewart.
Wow. I'm so glad you're here with me tonight.
Thank you so much. I thank you just for giving me time to you know, just to share about this writer, the writer course, and, you know, everything like that. And yeah.
So your coaching that you're doing, how's that going right now?
It's going good. And what I love to do as far as, I always talk about these things when it comes to coaching, prayer, meditation, because I believe that we need that in order to center ourselves and even who we are in God. Prioritization, because, you know, as moms, we have so much going on with children. We're working, we're going to school, we're doing things, and then pursuing our purpose, because I believe that purpose gives life, gives joy, gives strength. And so it's so important for us to pursue our purpose so that we don't die emotionally. And then also not being a people pleaser. To me, it's very, very important, because we can get so caught up in people's opinions. We're running everywhere. We're wearing ourselves out because we're trying to get people to love and like, you know, things are very important. And so I always talk about that when I'm doing mental health and support coaching, especially if we just want to get back to a place of peace and just be centered in who we are, you know, as people of God, you know, people walking on this earth and living the journey that we're of.
That is wonderful. And guys, I've been knowing Jacqueline for a long time. Yeah. And I just love her and her family. And I actually was that your first play that you wrote? I went to in Natchitoches.
So Only a House?
I remember remember it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I had never been to a play like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God. It was like being at one of those Tyler Perry plays.
Yeah. Singing and writing. And so, yeah, that was the very first play that I wrote and I directed, and I even wrote the songs and everything to that. And so, yeah, I absolutely love to write. And like I said, I just love to encourage people. And I just want people to step out of their comfort zone and know they can do it. So many times we always make these New Year resolutions. We do these vision boards. We go to these vision board parties. But then we sit on the vision throughout the entire year and we waste our year.
Amen.
And then the following year, we do the same thing. If we want different results, we have to do different things. We have to be willing to invest in ourselves. We have to connect with the right people, purpose-minded people who will encourage us and push us, people who would give us the keys in order to move forward, whatever direction and way that we want to move forward in. So God has given us the tools. He's also given us the people. We just say yes and walk through the door.
Amen. And so your online course starts in January?
Yes.
Okay.
The first Thursday in January. It will be every Thursday in January. Each session is 2 hours.
Okay.
And yeah, you're getting every Thursday for 2 hours for an entire month. And so, yeah, we're really going to do some good work.
Okay.
And you on your way, you're going to be ready to sit down and write your story. And like I said, if you need more work, I'm planning on creating the Confident Writer course private Facebook group. So when you get in there, you can ask more questions. You can support from me and even from other people who will be in there as well.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. So what else is going on in your life?
Well, look,
since you only have like 100 things going on, what else is going on?
And supporting my husband and working, different things like that. What I'm planning on doing, I already have short films that are written, and my next goal is to actually get those filmed. And then of course I'm thinking about doing some more books, maybe a part 2 to A Way of Escape. People asking me to write a part 2 to that. And then I'm thinking about writing what I would say a part 2 to Tanya's Journey of Forgiveness, but it would be more so from her husband's perspective.
Wow.
So it's just a lot that I'm thinking about, but I'm probably going to tackle the short film or short films, because I already got stuff written to do that. Tackle that first.
So how long does it take you to write a book?
It depends. Depends on where my mindset is, I'll be honest. And it just depends on if it's a short story, if it's a novelette, or if it's a novel. I've written a short story in a month. I can do, let's see, a novelette. It just depends on the passion behind it. So I say maybe 3 months.
Wow. That's fast.
and then right. So it's like you when you have that drive and when you have those ideas flowing, you have to get them out. It's important to go ahead and get them out. I realized this was so when I write something, but what I'll do is once I get it all out, that first draft, I'll sit on it for some months. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and read it and start editing it and different things like that.
Like you do all your editing and
I'll do some of my editing and proofreading, but then I may have someone else to edit and proofread as well. Because I have those extra set of eyes.
So do you publish your own books also?
I do my publishing on Amazon. And, it's just easier. Now, if you want to go to a traditional publishing route, that's awesome. You'll have to do something called querying, which if you join the class, I'll talk to you, talk to people more about querying and stuff that you have to go through with that. But sometimes traditional publishers may not stay true to the essence of your story because there are a lot of things that they may want to cut out or say that you need to add, different things like that. So I usually just go, the route of writing, editing, different things like that, and publishing it through Amazon, you know. And of course, you got to do all your marketing and different things like that. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is so interesting because it's like, you know, you always think, oh, I want to write my story, but then it becomes so overwhelming because you don't know where to begin.
Right. It's a lot to it. But if you just take it step by step, and like I said, get connected with a community, because when you're feeling overwhelmed, you're going to need somebody to push you and say, okay, hey girl, you know, take your break. Like you need to, let's get to this story. Because sometimes, you know, people can feel a little, you know, doubtful or down journey of writing. But like I said, with me, I'm a simple person. I like to take things step by step, and I like to make it for people. And so I came up with this course just to make it simple for people so that, you know, they can get their story out there. But there are a lot of steps, but there is a community of writers that you can learn from. You just have to get out there. Don't be afraid. It's all about how bad do I want to be a writer? How bad do I want to tell my story or write my story? How bad do I want to get my story out there? You know.
Now, what kind of advice would you give someone who wants to write their story, but their story may involve other people? You know what I'm saying? Like if they have trauma in their lives or they've had past situations that may involve, you know, somebody else, even though they're telling their story, how would you encourage them to?
So if this is a nonfiction story, okay, I would definitely say get with the people, or maybe definitely if it's something dealing with trauma, you may not want to communicate with the people who have caused the trauma. But even in writing your book, if you want to change the names, I believe that's a safe way to do it. You can tell your story. This is what happened to me, but you will say, okay, well, I'll change the name of this person for whatever purposes.
Okay.
So I think that's important. You can still tell your story in a true essence, but it's okay to make those name changes or, you know, different things like that.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of people want to tell their story. They just don't want to tell their business.
Right. People on blast. Now, I will say this. If you're a person that's planning on telling your story, make sure that you're healed from what you're putting out there.
That's important.
Be healed, because you know, you're gonna get into some deep areas when you're telling the truth of your story. Healed in there, because you may get some backlash, but it won't affect you in such of a great way because you're healed.
That's good.
You're just telling your story because it needs to be told, and because you want to help somebody else who has gone through what you've gone through.
That's
so
good.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so glad you were with me tonight. I was like, oh, I'm so excited to have Jackie with me again.
Yes.
You're doing so much.
Yes. And I love being here. And like I said, thank you so much for having me. It's always a blessing. I know that there are other things that you could be doing, but you say yes.
I want to be here.
So much.
And tell your husband I still want him on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
Y'all, her husband, y'all should hear him play. What is is it the guitar? What type of guitar?
It's the bass guitar.
Y'all.
And he's a solo bassist. And so, I mean, he is amazing on the bass.
Amazing.
And then, like, he produces his own stuff. He writes, and then he has all these cool devices where he can change the sound of his bass. And it's like, you're really, you know, it's really an exciting situation or an exciting show. Like when he does shows by himself. So it's really exciting. Like the bass isn't boring at all. You know,
y'all got to hear him. So can you give us his name? Do he have something out, like a CD or something?
His name is Antoine Stewart, but we always call him his musician name, Antoine Toots Stewart.
Okay.
So you can find him on Facebook. He has his artist page on there as Antoine Stewart. You can also find him on Instagram. I think it's Antoine Toots Stewart on Instagram. Don't hold me to that, but I know on Facebook it's Antoine Stewart. So yeah, his artist page. And he's always working on music and, you know, releasing things. And so, yeah, he's amazing. And I'm not just saying my husband. I'm saying it because it's true. He's amazing.
Yeah, he is amazing. And she just lightens up when she says, my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're so happy to have you with us. And thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Miss Bridget. Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a great night. And remember, if you want to be a part of the Confident Writer course, which I hope that you do, you can email me at writerjnstewart@gmail.com.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you too. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.